The 2023 IPL final ended up going for nearly 3 days. That is because the original day was washed out, it went into a reserve day which was also truncated, and the match finished in the early parts of the morning the next day. 2024, however, saw all of that balance out real nicely because we got a final that didn't even last for 3 hours. I'm not even kidding. You heard that right. Under 3 hours is how long the actual final lasted, and this, yes, I'm talking about with a mid-innings break and a strategic break, 3 strategic breaks in fact, interspersed throughout both of the innings. It was one-sided dominance from KKR, but was this really one of the most dominant finals ever? In this list, we're going to be ranking the 5 most dominant one-sided IPL finals in history because, believe it or not, the IPL in general, whilst it's had a lot of close finals, there have also been some which probably haven't been as close. They've been one-sided and, should be told, at times boring encounters. So let's start, and the list goes from number 1 to number 5, and number 1 on the list is, you guessed it, KKR versus Sunrisers Hyderabad in 2024. There's no denying the fact that this is by some distance the most one-sided final that has ever been contested. Why? Because Sunrisers put up the lowest ever score batting first in an IPL final, only got 113 and were dismissed before their 20 overs were even done. In response, KKR lost 2 wickets and finished the game in 10.3 overs. That means they had over 9 overs still left to get the game done with. Someone had to probably remind them that they weren't playing for net run rate, but that's just how one-sided this particular final was. Number 2 in the list is a final that many would remember, although it happened a long time back. CSK versus RCB in 2011. This was probably, up until this point, the most one-sided final ever contested. Why? Because CSK batting first put up a mammoth total of 205 for 5 and 20 overs. You had good knocks from Murli Vijay. And more often than not, the CSK batting at that point, very power-packed. In response, RCB got to 147 of 8 in 20 overs, but this score doesn't even tell you the full story because the match was as good as done once Ravichandran Ashwin got rid of Chris Gayle in the very first over. After that, it was merely a case of when rather than if CSK would be winning their second title. Even so, a loss of over nearly 60 runs, that is a very, very big margin for an IPL final. At number 3 on the list, we have the Delhi Capitals versus Mumbai Indians in 2020. Now, it's funny really for Shreyas Iyer because the first ever IPL final he played was a one-sided loss. The second one was a one-sided win. Funny how life works sometimes. 2020 was a weird year. You had the final take place all the way in November, and you then also had two teams really who finished at the top of the table in Delhi and MI, but a very one-sided final. Batting first, all DC could muster was 156 for 7, which might seem like a lot, but in a final, it was never going to be competitive, even on a somewhat two-paced wickets, or the kind of two-paced wickets you were getting in the UAE. MI in response lost 5 wickets but chased it down with 8 balls to spare. That is as dominant as they come, and truth be told, Delhi never really seemed to be in the contest, even though, as I said, the pitch perhaps wasn't the easiest to bat on, but MI made relatively light work of the entire game. Number 4, and this one is really interesting because it once again features the Mumbai Indians. Well, this one was in 2015 and it was very, very one-sided indeed because, again, this was one of those matches that just ended up, everything that could have gone right for Mumbai ended up getting right. Bat first and get a big total, check. Restrict CSK to a very, very low total in response, check. A 41-run win in a final. It does not get more dominant, more one-sided than that. And this really was one of those very dominant wins early on. For MI, it's very interesting. They've had 5 title wins, but 2 of them were very, very close. So if you think about it, you had 2015 and 2017, these were very, very close ones. But then this particular one, not at all that close. And the last one on the list, 2018. 2018 was the year that the CSK Dad's Army made a comeback. Remember, they bought a lot of experienced players and were derided for doing so, but then they ended up doing this in the final. They restricted SRH to 178 in the first innings. Then a Shane Watson century ensured that CSK chased it down with 9 balls to spare. And bear in mind, this is a Shane Watson who towards the end of the match was pretty much batting on one leg because he'd suffered a muscle tear. Now again, that was a match that could have actually gone SRH's way if they had put up a competent total. Unfortunately, they didn't really end up putting up that sort of a competent total. They put up a rather low, mellow total, and that is why CSK had no problems really chasing it down. Yes, the SRH bowlers did put up a bit of a fight early, but once they couldn't get regular inroads, it was always going to be CSK's game. And that's it. These are our 5 closest or most one-sided IPL finals in history. Agree with the list, disagree, have any other finals in mind? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now, from my side though, it is goodbye.